YouTube, Galfrey here, and welcome to a brand new video. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the 2016 Christmas special of Doctor Who, The Return of Dr. Mysterio. Now, The Return of Dr. Mysterio was the first episode of Doctor Who we have seen in an entire year. Yes, 1 year without Doctor Who. Yes, we have had Class, we've had Power of the Daleks, but we haven't had any new Doctor Who for an entire year. So, The Return of Dr. Mysterio. It's an average episode in my opinion. It's alright. So, the plot of The Return of Dr. Mysterio is a loose sequel to The Husbands of River Song, last year's Christmas special, as it contains the company or organisation Harmony Shoals. Now, Harmony Shoals plays an important part in this story, but what plays a more important part in this story is Grant, a superhero. So the episode opens with the Doctor dangling off a rooftop. He knocks on someone's window. It's this little boy named Grant who is obsessed with superheroes. He lets the Doctor in. The Doctor gives him this little gem which he found on a distant planet. This gem turns you into whatever you want to be. Grant wanted to be a superhero. He got all these superhero powers. And yes, he could fly, he could do all sorts of stuff, he had unbelievable strength. And yes, he is now a superhero. So he was just a little boy then, he was around 8 years old when we first encountered the Doctor. And he nicknamed the Doctor Dr. Mysterio, hence why the title is The Return of Dr. Mysterio, because years later when Grant has grown up, he returns. So yes, that's why it's called The Return of Dr. Mysterio, because Dr. Mysterio is the Doctor who returns. When I first heard the title, I thought Dr. Mysterio was Grant, played by Justin Chadwick. Now, a lot of people said Justin Chadwick was a waste in this episode, but I don't think he was. Seeing as he's quite a famous actor, he played a really important part in this story. But I tell you what was a waste in this story: Nardole. Nardole was a waste of space in this story. He was a waste in The Husbands of River Song. We thought we would never see him again, but yet in The Return of Dr. Mysterio, Nardole returned. What a stupid choice to bring back. You could see bringing back someone like the journalist in The Return of Dr. Mysterio back for Series 10 as a companion. She was a really good character and very well companion suited, but bringing back Nardole, what a strange choice. But yes, in this episode we learn how Nardole got his head back on. The Doctor, he was lonely after the death of River Song, because of course in this episode the Doctor is recovering from the loss of River Song, because he spent 24 years with River Song in The Husbands of River Song, so it is a sequel. So yes, he cut Nardole out of Hydroflax and put his head back on his body. Why choose Nardole over Ramon, even though Ramon is a more companion-suited character? I don't know. What is Stephen Moffat thinking? And yes, only 1 more year left of Moffat. Yes. No more messed up storylines in a year's time, because it will be taken over by Chris Chibnall, which I'm looking forward to. Chris Chibnall being showrunner of Doctor Who, that's going to be brilliant. So, getting back onto the plot of The Return of Dr. Mysterio. So yes, he swallowed this pill, this little gemstone, and it turned him into a superhero. But the other plot, which links in with The Husbands of River Song as well, is Harmony Shoals. Now, Harmony Shoals is this organisation, and what they want to do is they want to lure world leaders into their institutions all across the world, so then they can swap their brains for their own kind and then take over the world, which I find is a brilliant plot. And they want Grant's body so they can fly into, let's say, Trump Towers and go into Donald Trump's brain and replace his brain with one of them and take over the world. So yes, it's a very good plot, a very strange plot, something they haven't done before in Doctor Who, especially with a superhero. It's the first time the Doctor has taken on a superhero and competed with a superhero. So yes, I think Grant was a brilliant character, as well as the journalist in it. 2 brilliant, well-developed characters, a lot more well-developed than Nardole. And yeah, basically that's the plot of the return of Dr. Mysterio. Of course, there's the bomb hitting down on Earth, on New York, so then Harmony Shoals can lure the world leaders into their buildings with radiation glass, so then they can't escape and stuff like that. It's quite complicated if you haven't watched the story. It's a very simple plotline, but it's very hard to explain, I think, the plotline, because it's all about world leaders and stuff like that. So yes, The Return of Dr. Mysterio was an average Christmas special, but a complaint about the story would be there's not really a Christmas element in the story. Christmas is not even in the background of the story, only at the beginning. And yeah, the pre-title sequence was very long. It's around 7 minutes long, which I found ridiculous. But that's a tenth of the episode, well, over a tenth of the episode being the pre-title sequence. But at the beginning of this episode, well, before the episode actually aired, was this special BBC ident which featured Epic Coup. Why pick Epic Coup to be in that ident? I don't know. He's quitting YouTube. You should pick someone like TARDIS Archives or Who Addicts Reviews, or someone who is more well known in the YouTubing industry with more subscribers. So yes, that's my review on the return of Dr. Mysterio. There's good points and bad points about this story. Good points are, I think, Grant was a very well developed character. We learnt how Nardole got his head back on, but negatives were not really Christmassy, and it introduced us to Nardole. And yes, at the end of this episode, after the credits, we saw a preview of Series 10, which seems to have very good effects, and I like all the graphics in the trailer. However, it did look pretty bad. So yes, that's the end of my review on the return of Dr. Mysterio. What did you think of this episode? Good or bad? I would personally rate this episode a 7 out of 10. Goodbye.